Sorry about that, babe.
What's up, guys? It's Cody aka the Bear here with Bits and Glory, and we are back with my June of 2021 pickups. This is going to be mostly retro video games, but also, as you can see, some horror movies. I'm going to try this new format here where I'm recording off of my iPhone. If you guys prefer the old format, just let me know and I'll go back to it. Just wanted to kind of be a little bit experimental, I guess you could say. Obviously, with the old format with the webcam, you get a more personable feel with myself on the camera, but the detail of all my stuff that I got is, it's obviously pretty washed out because it's just not as good of a camera as you have on my phone. But anyway, long story short, if you like this format, let me know. If you don't, we'll go back to the old one. It's no big deal. But first, we're going to get started with some horror movies. Pretty much all VHS this month. Let me see, I think kind of got all my stuff strewn about here. Gonna do my best to go through here. Oh yes, I do have one Blu-ray. I can get to that as well. But yeah, I low-key sort of collect like horror movies and action movies and sci-fi and stuff like that. So let's get cracking. Here, as you can see, we have Nightmare on Elm Street VHS. These VHS tapes that you're gonna see, my mom actually got at the flea market. I think she got all of them for like $4. It's pretty crazy. I'm not going to say too much about the movies because I think I did that too much last time. We'll just kind of roll through. So we got Nightmare on Elm Street, the Psycho remake. Not a huge fan of this movie, but it was in the lot, so what can you do? John Carpenter's Vampires. Got some interesting ones here, actually. So we got a Blockbuster exclusive. Try not to like slam too much down on here so we don't make too much noise. Secrets of the Unknown Bigfoot and Witches. Features 2 separate episodes. That'd be pretty interesting. Gonna have to watch that this year during October. You got some pretty schlocky ones too. Soul Keeper. Oh, look at that. Evil hungers for your soul. Crazy. You got Hell Asylum. Some of these movies I literally have no prior knowledge of, and this is one of them. Witch House. Evil Beyond Evil. This is another one I have no idea about it, but, I mean, look at it. Looks pretty cool. We have Valentine. A lot of these, I think, are a lot of 90s horror movies. Some of them are from the 80s and the 2000s as well, though. The tail end of the VHS lifespan, so to speak. We have Wishmaster 3, Beyond the Gates of Hell. Ah, The Phantom. See, not everything is a horror movie, and this is a prime example of that. Was that Billy Zane? Who played the Phantom? Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, what do we got there? Yep, Billy Zane. See? You can't read this shit when I'm showing you guys on the webcam. Although, to be honest with you, in a perfect scenario, this camera will be zoomed out just a little bit. But this is kind of what I'm going to have to work with. It's a trial run, people. It's a trial run. Midnight Kiss. A Kiss to Die For. Pretty cool one coming up here. Not the greatest movie, but I was really happy to find it on VHS. Maniac Cop 3. You can't keep a good corpse down. As far as the Maniac Cop series go, this is... I mean, it's probably the third best out of the 3, but still pretty cool to get on VHS. Night of the Zombies. They Eat the Living. I remember seeing this in the video stores and stuff back in the day, so it's pretty cool to find it. Happy about that. This was in the lot. Species 2. Never really watched the Species movies. I just remember the gist of it is, what's her name? Natasha, is it Natasha Henstridge or something? Let's see. Yeah, Natasha Henstridge. I just remember she has sex with everything. It's pretty much the plot of these movies. Next we have Sweet Evil, starring Bridget Wilson. A couple movies we actually had to throw away because they were molded, which is very unfortunate. Subspecies, The Night Has Fangs. This is another VHS that I remember seeing in the movie aisles back in the day. So cool to pick up. We have another one coming up, I believe. Yep, coming up soon. We have Body Count, which appears to be some sort of action thriller type movie. Lots of people in this movie though. Never seen it, but it was in the lot. My cat Lily's roaming around as well. Ah yes, Amityville 2: The Possession. This is one that I've actually never seen and I have been wanting to see for quite some time. Believe it or not, I've actually never finished the first Amityville movie either. So I should probably do that. And I'm not talking about the remake, I'm talking about the original. Hide and Go Shriek. This is one that I definitely remember seeing in the horror aisle as a kid. So it's pretty funny to finally have gotten it. It's hard to, I mean, like, come on. You see the tattoo on his foot? I just remember that. As soon as it came out of the lot, I was like, oh shit, I remember that. Good times. And Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou. I still haven't finished the first Prom Night. I got about halfway through it, and then I think I was streaming that night, and I just kind of forgot to go back to it. But apparently this is, you know, like a $15, $20 VHS, so pretty cool to pick that up. And the only Blu-ray that we got this month, Last Action Hero, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, it's not in line with like Terminator 2 or something like that, but it's actually a really good movie. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of action movies, Arnold, anything like that. It's like low-key one of Arnold's better movies, aside from, you know, the usual like Predator, Total Recall, Terminator, Terminator 2, blah blah blah. Alright, now where to start. We're gonna get on with the games here, people. Let me just kind of sift through. We got lots to go through. I guess first, I could start with some complete in-box NES games that I got this month. First is Uninvited, which I actually played through on stream. It's part of the point-and-click sort of like adventure series with Shadowgate, excuse me, and Deja Vu. This is like the more horror-themed one. I got this for a really good deal on Mercari, so I was really happy about that. It's probably, I mean, I haven't really played through Deja Vu, but it might be my least favorite of the three, but it's still really cool to get this. And then I found a complete in-box copy of Shadowgate, which is definitely my favorite of the trilogy. I already had a copy of the game, so I believe I'll be selling that to Stall Talk. But I really wanted the box and the manual and such, so got it for a decent price. Not the greatest price, but good enough. Good enough to where when I sell the cartridge, you know, I won't feel too bad about it. Let's see, what should we get into next? I have a lone Sega Genesis game, and that is Dungeons & Dragons Warriors of the Eternal Sun. Got this on eBay for a pretty decent price. Pretty cool, like, overworld / dungeon crawler RPG. This comes complete with the manual. The case itself is a little dirty. I tried cleaning it up as best as possible. It's very, very odd dirt. Must have been stored somewhere strange, but the game's fine. Battery backup works, so I can't complain. Also, you have to excuse me, there's a fly running around. It's super hot here. Occasionally, as soon as it gets really hot, flies will just randomly appear, and my cat is running around chasing it. So. Alright, next we have actually a Wii game. Actually, you know what? No, I'll save that for later. Yeah, I'll save that for later. We'll get into the only guide that I got this month. And that is a guide for Brave Fencer Musashi on the Sony PlayStation. This is a game by Squaresoft. It's kind of like an action RPG sort of adventure type of game. I was actually going to play through this next, but I got sidetracked and I started playing through Final Fantasy 1 on the NES. I hope to get to it sometime this year, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. My ebbs and flows of my gaming, they tend to just go in weird directions. Alright, up next is actually just the box. Just the box. I got the 4 display only box for Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars. It's actually legit. And I put my game and my manual and stuff inside of it. It's not the actual like retail release box, it's the one that would be like in the stores for display only. But you know what? It's a little bit cheaper than the real box, and it's still authentic, so I figured, fuck it, let's just get it. Pretty cool. It's like a little more unique piece of history, I suppose. And then next, we have a couple of boxes for boxes, manuals, and maps. I'm not going to take everything apart, it's going to take forever. I got them on Etsy, and I will link the Etsy stuff in the description below. Pretty cool. Games that are mostly, actually they're all reproduction cartridges except one of them. Games that didn't make their way stateside. So, super happy to add them to the collection. One is Terranigma, which is part of the Soul Blazer Illusion of Gaia loosely related trilogy by Enix. Apparently this is the best one of the bunch. It's the only one that I still haven't played myself. And as I said, it's RetroPixed. Like I said, I'll link it below. But comes with a very nice quality box, manual, map, all that kind of inserts and stuff. It's super cool, dude. I'm really happy with it. The guy's based out of Spain, so it takes a little while to get to you, but it's worth it. Next is Secret of Mana 2. Same thing, had the reproduction cartridge. It was only released in, I guess, PAL territories in Japan, not here. It's actually Secret of Mana 3. I just touched on this before, so I don't want to give a history lesson, but it's Seiken Densetsu 3, or Secret of Mana 2. One that I still haven't gotten to, hope to get to someday. Heard it's pretty good. It fixed a couple things from the original, so excited about that. Next is Treasure Hunter G, a reproduction cartridge that I've also had for quite some time. And figured, you know what, since I'm trying to complete out all my RPGs, much like the others you've just seen, might as well get this stuff. Cool boxes, manuals, and maps, right? Squaresoft RPG that never made its way to the States. And lastly, for the reproductions, we have Gunpuru Gunman's Proof, which is an interesting looking RPG that I got a while ago by Asksy. I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, it's kind of like a action RPG similar to like Link to the Past or something like that. So that's cool. And then I decided, instead of spending $1 zillion on the real thing, that I would just get a very high quality, you know, reproduction box, manual, all that type of stuff for Earthbound. I actually own the original copy of Earthbound. My memory's terrible. I can't remember if I covered it in the May pickups or not. But I think I did. If I didn't, well, I got Earthbound. That's a legitimate copy, and I got a pretty good price on it on eBay. And instead of forking out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for the oversized box and strategy guide, I figured, screw it, let's just get a reproduction box, map, and manual, and I'm cool with that. So I'm super happy to have that. Obviously, it's in the PAL look and feel, but better than nothing. So again, I'll link that in the description below for those of you who might be interested in buying that type of stuff. I think that he only makes it for those games, and maybe Super Mario RPG, which I didn't need, but hey, better than nothing, pretty cool. Alright, so the big chunk of games this month is actually PlayStation 1. I'll get to that last. I'll cover the lone Dreamcast game that I got this month, and that is Resident Evil 2. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, especially Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4, so this is one that I've been wanting to add to the collection for quite some time. I got a decent price on it. This game is very expensive, for those of you in the know. I got it on auction for maybe about, I don't know, 10 to 15 bucks cheaper than what it normally goes for, so not bad. It's a pretty good port of the game. One of the allures to it, I hope, because I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know for a fact because I haven't done it yet myself. But I believe that it has a special nightmare mode, which makes it's basically like a very hard mode or something like that. I've never played through it, and I've been really meaning to. So my next actual playthrough of Resident Evil 2, if I'm not going to do a speedrun or something, will be on the Dreamcast, because I want to unlock the nightmare mode and get to that. But beyond that, you know, it's still the Resident Evil 2 that we know and love. You know, clearly better graphics than the PlayStation 1 version and such. And being a Resident Evil fan and collector, it's just good to have it in the collection. Next, we're going to get into some PlayStation 2 and Wii stuff for Silent Hill. Recently, I've been playing through Silent Hill 1 a lot, and I've been feeling very inspired. So I ended up getting Silent Hill 2, the Black Label version, complete in box. I did not get the Greatest Hits version, which is typically more expensive because it comes with the Born from a Wish scenario. I'm not a huge fan of the Born from a Wish scenario. I think it's kind of boring. So, in order to save a little bit of money, I decided to get the Black Label version. Plus, I like the Black Labels more. Next, Silent Hill 3. So, the story here is I actually had the Silent Hill 3 disc, and I didn't remember it. So I ended up buying a complete copy on eBay. It's missing the soundtrack, unfortunately. But I bought a complete copy on eBay, and then I resold my disc to recoup some of my funds. Silent Hill 3 overall is probably my favorite Silent Hill in the series. I feel like it's the best actual game. You could probably convince me on a different day that it would be the first Silent Hill is my favorite. I like Silent Hill 2. It seems to be the majority of people's favorite. It's not my favorite, though. I prefer 1 and 3 to it, but preferences to each their own, right? Next, we have Silent Hill 4 The Room, which I also got complete in box for a pretty decent price on eBay. I have not played through this one yet. I know that it is affectionately dubbed the best worst Silent Hill, so to speak, but I've actually seen some people that say that this is their favorite. It's always, you know, kind of been an off-the-wall sort of game. I remember seeing the reviews for it, and I know it came out on Xbox when I was in high school. And I remember thinking to myself, it would be cool to get to this one someday. So, I've been playing through Silent Hill 1 a lot. I'm going to kind of work my way through the series again. I have beaten 2 and 3 before, but I'd love to play through them and try to get all the endings and such. And then we'll get to that soon. Next, we have a game on the Wii, which is Silent Hill Shattered Memories, which is a first-person, I believe you can use the motion controller in this. I heard it's like a retelling of the first Silent Hill, and I believe that it's a quote-unquote walking simulator, so there's like no combat really, but that's fine. Silent Hill does a great job of putting you into these worlds and atmospheres and stuff, and I feel like it'll be pretty cool to play through it in first person. I had the box and manual, but I never had the actual CD. I had a burned copy, so I ended up getting a legitimate copy, and now I'm selling my old box and manual on eBay. But next, we have a lot to get into. We're already at 16 plus minutes here, so I'm just going to kind of go through as quick as possible because I don't want to waste everybody's time. We have lots of PlayStation 1 games to get to. Lots of them. Your boy went ham this month. Most are RPGs. So first we have Saga Frontier by Squaresoft. This is part of obviously the Saga franchise, which the first Saga Frontier is actually the Final Fantasy adventure on Game Boy, which I played through years ago and really enjoyed. I remember Saga Frontier is pretty open-ended. I rented it with my friend Kyle back in the day, or he rented it, I believe. He might have owned it, I don't remember. But either way, I remember it was kind of overwhelming as a kid, but as an adult and with tons of strategy guides, I'm sure it'd be a worthwhile playthrough. Next, we have Blood Omen, The Legacy of Kain. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure The Legacy of Kain ended up turning into Soul Reaver, which is a pretty cool game, but this is more of like an over-the-top perspective action RPG that's intrigued me for quite some time, and I was able to get it on an auction on eBay for a pretty good price. I'm happy about that as well. Next, I'm just going to kind of show these both at the same time, I guess, if I could fit them on. We have Nightmare Creatures 1 and 2. I believe that I got Nightmare Creatures 2 on Mercari, Nightmare Creatures 1 on eBay. People joke that this is like the precursor to Bloodborne. It's sort of like a horror-themed third-person action game. I don't know, it looks pretty cool from what I saw. I've heard some people say that the N64 version might be a little bit better for this, but whatever. I kind of wanted them on PlayStation. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm not a huge fan of the N64, so I don't anticipate myself collecting for that again anytime soon, since I sold all my collection years ago. We got a heavy hitter coming up right now, actually, in the survival horror universe, and that's Clock Tower. Now, I guess PS1 collectors are all about the registration cards being attached to the instruction manuals, and that one is still attached to this. It's not in the best shape. You could probably kind of, yeah, you can kind of see there. A little bit warped, might have been either a little water damaged or a little damaged from like humidity or something like that. I noticed that's a common issue with a lot of these CD-based games. But the price that I paid for it was actually pretty good, so I'm pretty happy about that. Clock Tower is a series that I haven't really dove into, but I'd love to, and what a better place to start than here. Or I can go back with the SNES one, get a reproduction card. But anyway, happy to add that to the collection. Next, RPG, Squaresoft, Front Mission 3. Really not much to be said here. Great strategy RPG series with mechs and stuff like that. And there was an offshoot on the SNES, which wasn't. It was like a side-scrolling, might have been an action RPG or just an action game. Anyway, this goes back to the traditional formula. One of the greats, Next is a game that I got on Mercari from a pretty cool seller called Overblood. Never really heard of it before. It is a survival horror game on the PS1. I definitely do want to get to this one this year. I've been feeling the itch. Pretty much all I want to play anymore is RPGs and survival horror games. It's pretty bad, because both of them are pretty time-consuming in their own right. Especially if it's like your first playthrough of said survival horror. Next, we got Ape Escape. Never really played it as a kid. I always thought it looked, somewhat interesting. Got great reviews on the internet, so I figured take the plunge. Got a really good deal on Mercari for the Black Label version of this. Couldn't pass it up. Happy to play through this. Might be a fun game to play with Akari. So, yeah, happy to have that collection, obviously. Next, the Black Label version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And this is why I'm telling you guys, gotta look on Amazon once in a while. Yes, you take a risk, but yes, you could also message sellers. The guy said that it was the Black Label version, so I reached out just to confirm. It was. And I got it for about $35 to $40 cheaper than the cheapest buy it now on eBay. So, plus the 5% kickback from the Amazon Rewards Visa. Gotta love it. We aren't even close to done, people. Gonna go a little bit quicker now. Legend of Mana by Squaresoft, which is a game that I actually did have as a kid, and I believe I sold. Clearly I sold because I don't have it anymore. But I remember this one being pretty interesting. I know that it's a very open-ended and sort of confusing game to play without a guide, but I remember being intrigued by it as a kid. And I think they either made a sequel to this or they remade it recently, but I really don't give a fuck. I'll be playing this version. That's how I roll. Next is a Father's Day gift from Melissa. Evil Dead Hail to the King. I heard it's not the best game, but you know what? I'm a huge survival horror fan, PS1 fan, and obviously Evil Dead Ash fan, so let's give it a go, right? Pretty good price on eBay. Scoured around all day to figure out what I wanted for Father's Day, and I decided on that. Lily's running around chasing flies again. Next, Diablo, which is actually a pretty cool two-player PlayStation port. Yes, you have to deal with playing with a controller, and yes, there are cruddy load times, but this is actually a pretty unique experience. And I think I might want to play through it soon. I played through the original Diablo for the first time, I know, crazy, a few years ago, and I really, really enjoyed it, so I'd like to play the PlayStation version soon. And now I can, baby. Alright, let's kind of do a little, I guess we can get away with a quick one here, because these games aren't necessarily that expensive by any means. So we got Tomb Raider, the greatest hits version. I actually owned Tomb Raider, and this is a condition upgrade, and I also own the disc of Tomb Raider 2, and I sold those on eBay because I got a complete in-box copy of Tomb Raider 2. Also in that lot was Tomb Raider 3, and last but not least, Tomb Raider The Last Revelation. I actually forgot, guys, I also got the strategy guides for, I think, The Last Revelation and Tomb Raider 2, but they are nowhere near me right now, so I'm not going to show them, and I do apologize for that. Alright guys, we got about, like, I don't know, 11 or 12 more games left, and then we're done! Medieval 2. This popped up on Mercari for about 20 bucks below market value, and I could not pass it up. I already owned Medieval 1, and I wanted to get the second. I know this game has also been either remastered or remade recently. Oh, excuse me. Why did I say Medieval 2? This is Medieval 1. I already owned Medieval 2. Excuse me. Doing it live, right? But they remade them recently on, like, the new gen consoles, and I think it might be on Steam as well. But I wanted to get the original there. Lily, get out of there! Sorry about that. Cat going crazy. Alright. Dino Crisis 2. For those of you that know, I greatly prefer Dino Crisis 2 to Dino Crisis 1. I just prefer the action over all the puzzles. Really wanted to own the physical copy. Again, got a pretty good price on this on eBay. Can't complain about it. Can't wait to play through it again soon. Next we got Eternal Eyes, which is a RPG by Crave. It's like a strategy RPG. Apparently it got mixed reviews, but I always thought that the art style looks pretty cool, so I'm happy about that. And now we're going to get interrupted by Razy, is coming down. All the cats are going crazy. Next we got Darkstone, which is an action RPG that I've seen compared to Diablo, believe it or not. Look deep inside yourself. Is there a dragon slayer within? Well, I guess we'll find out, right? Trying to finish this up before things get too loud down here. For those of you that know, my boy Razy is deaf and old and loud and always hungry. Monkey Hero, which is apparently some kind of action RPG of sorts. I actually got it for free with Amazon rewards points. I failed to mention that I also got a couple of these other games for free with my rewards points from all the crap that I bought over the last few months. So I'm not just buying everything, you know what I mean? I'm not money bags, people. Might look like it though. Next is Shadow Tower, a game that I'm super happy to add to the collection. Age tech, but more importantly, from software. Kind of a spiritual successor to the Kingsfield series, but revolves more around monsters, and you have like durability with your weapons and stuff like that. And I think there's guns in this game. One that I've been meaning to play for quite some time. I really enjoyed the first Kingsfield, even though it is obviously archaic, and I really want to play through the rest of the Kingsfield series as well as Shadow Tower soon. Shoutouts to From Software for making some GOAT games. Alright, some bigger games left to come in the bigger cases, and then we're done. Razy, you're doing a good job not yelling. Beyond the Beyond, which is a... it's been panned for being a pretty generic RPG, but I actually really enjoyed the art style, and I've always been intrigued by it since I was a kid. And I got it from the seller that sold Overblood. It was a really good price, good guy, and we kind of, you know, worked out a quick little deal there, and very happy with it. Hope to get to it soon. Next is Shadow Madness, another RPG by Crave. It's another one that's kind of mixed. It seems to be kind of generally around like the 7 out of 10 type of region, but I always thought the art style and the fact that like the main character is like a pirate, I always thought it was like really interesting. I remember seeing this one as a kid. Alright guys, 5 more, bear with me. We have Resident Evil Director's Cut. I already own the Greatest Hits version. This is the one that comes with the Resident Evil 2 demo. Black label, of course. I think that there are some differences between the two versions, but if anybody knows, you can correct me in the comments below. It could be the same thing, I don't know, but I feel like one of them has like a really weird soundtrack that has that awful fucking brass instrument song. Those of you in the know, I'll link that below as well in the comments or something. Next we have Vagrant Story by Squaresoft, which is a game that I never played as a kid. Really cool art style. It's one of the more highly acclaimed RPGs of the era. Got this on Amazon for a very good price. Really looking forward to getting to this one. Alright, a couple more. Ah yes, Alundra by Working Designs. I've heard that this game is like really hard with the puzzles, so I'll probably be melting my brain and using strategy guides. But if it has Working Designs slapped on it in this era, more likely than not, the game's like at least an 8 out of 10, for the most part. The sequel apparently changes stuff up a lot, and it's way cheaper. This one's more sought after. The art style, I'm pretty sure, just from looking at it, looks like the dude, since it is Working Designs, it wouldn't surprise me. I think it might be the guy that did the art for like Landstalker and Shining Force and stuff. So pretty pumped about that. And 2 more games, guys, and then we're done. I know. Ah yes, Brave Fencer Musashi. Unfortunately, this didn't come with the demo disc or the manual. It's a pretty expensive game when it's complete, but I found it, you know, in the box, with the game obviously, for a really good price, and I'm like, shit, maybe someday I'll get the manual or something like that, but I'm not going to worry about it. So that's part of the reason why I bought the strategy guide, just to have some kind of documentation with it. And lastly, we have Wild Arms 2, which is obviously the sequel to Wild Arms. I really enjoyed Wild Arms, and I reviewed that on my channel quite a while ago. Wild Arms 2, I had it for a while, and I sold it, regretted it, and we got it back. So that's it, guys. Trying to wrap this up in less than a half hour. Hope you enjoyed the new format. If you didn't, just fucking yell at me. That's fine. I don't really care. We could try the old format again next month, or continue on with this one. Anyways, if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next month for a clearly shorter video. Take it easy.